Hi, this is Kristen Heemstra, your personal college and career coach, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you so much information. We are going to be doing a 3-part series on the common data set. This is the first in the series, and in this video, which I hope that you will share far and wide because everybody needs this information, we are going to be talking about the selectivity of a school, the diversity of a school, and just getting some general information. In the next video, the second one, we'll be talking about how to determine if the school is a good match for you in terms of academics based on their ACT and SAT and GPA. And then in the last video, we'll be talking about money. So where do you find all of this delicious information? You find it in the common data set. How come you've never heard of it? Because it isn't sexy, but it has everything you need to know. It's like the geeky, so awesome person that you know. This is the common data set. How do you find it? It's super simple. You just type in the words common data set and the name of the school. So common data set Dartmouth. I'm going to pull up 3 different ones for you. And then I actually already have that one pulled up. Common data set Clemson, so that you can see what Clemson's numbers look like. And all of these things are going to be set usually by the institutional research branch of a school. So I have Lewis and Clark here, which is a small school in Portland, Oregon, Clemson University in South Carolina, and Dartmouth. So let's just start with Dartmouth so we can get a sense of things. So first thing you need to know, general information. Where it is. Okay, great. In case you haven't been there, Dartmouth is in New Hampshire. It is a private school. It is coeducational. They are on the quarter system. This is always interesting because you assume that schools often are on the semester system. That is not the case. Schools are on all kinds of different academic plans. And so if you have a particular learning style, sometimes that matters. What kind of degrees are offered? Let me hide this. Bachelor's, master's, doctoral degrees, professional degrees. Excellent. We love it. Let's talk about enrollment. Who is at this school? Well, overall, you have about 4,417 undergrads, about 2,000 grad students for a total of 6,500 students. What do these students look like in terms of their gender? Well, the undergrads are actually really balanced for a university. You'll see that in a lot of the ones that I'm going to show you. They have about 2,219 men, 2,138 women. All right, very nice. What do they look like? What's their diversity like? Oh, well, let me tell you, it's right here. In terms of, this is your incoming freshman class, and then this is the total undergraduate population. So in terms of your freshman class, these are going to be your international students, non-resident aliens. What a name, huh? But then you can see how many Hispanic students, African American, white students, Native American, Asian. You have it all right here. So when you look at this, you can be like, who looks like me on campus? And then you'll be able to say, oh, wow, there's 16 of me here, or whatever. Okay. And then you can go down to, you can see how many degrees are awarded. So that's always interesting to know. Graduation rate, super, super important. So not every school has high graduation rates. There are some schools that they're almost like starter schools. Like a lot of students will start, but not everyone will finish. The higher ranked schools have higher graduation rates, which I'm sure will not surprise you. In the graduation rates, they divvy them out by who's getting kind of federal loans. The Pell Grants are for students who are significantly below the poverty line, and Stafford loans and they're also for people who are living right on the edge here. And then there's people who aren't on those lines. They're combining all these scores and they're saying, hey, overall, how many people graduated? Now you'll see this is for the fall 2012 cohort. So in the fall, they break them out in 6 years. So at least 95% of the people who started finished. That's great. In 2011, 96% finished. Awesome. So those are numbers you want to pay attention to. And then overall, how many people are returning year after year? Well, this is going to tell you the people who started in the fall of 2017, 97% returned. Great. That's awesome. Let's compare it real quick. Okay, here's Clemson. Now, Clemson is a state school. So you see their various degrees here. What's their enrollment look like? Well, they have, you can see it's not quite lined up the same way. They have 1,700 men roughly and 2,000 women. And total undergrads coming in for them is going to be 9,600. And what does this look like? These are their graduate numbers, so we're not going to pay a lot of attention to them. All told, they have about 20,000 graduate students. 20,000 undergrads and 5,000 grads. So you're going to get roughly, 2,500 students on their campus. Now, who are these students? What do they look like? Again, these aren't lined up the easiest to see. In the freshman class, you have, 300 Hispanic students, 240 African Americans, 3,000 white folks, 100 Asians. Overall on campus, depending on what you're looking for, you may find a lot of people who look like you. And then bachelor's degrees, how are those being divvied out? Then enrollment and persistence. Let's find out, kind of come down here. Now, this is interesting because they actually don't give you percentages. Here we go, percentages. So they're looking at overall an 82% graduation rate is what I'm seeing. 83 here. Let's see what their retention rate is like. If they put it, because sometimes people won't put it, but they have a really high retention rate. They have a 93% retention rate. So that is really good. All right, let's take a look now at Lewis and Clark. See what they look like. They're a private school. They're coeducational. They offer all kinds of degrees. And they are not giving us a whole lot of information, which is interesting. They must be, I want general information. So let's do enrollment and persistence. So you're going to have to do this one separately. So they undergrads total, undergrad and graduate, they're a small institution. They have about 2,000 undergrads, 3,000 with the grad students. This is what their demographic looks like. Let's see what their enrollment persists. 75% of the students that start are going to finish. And that was for the 2012 cohort. 2011 is 80%. What is their retention? So this is interesting. In the fall of 2017, 81% of the students who started continued. Now let's pull down through the next level of this information. First time freshmen. All right, this is so important because this tells you the selectivity of a school overall. And we'll get more into the selectivity with early decision in a moment or in the next video, but in this one, we're doing overall selectivity. So men, you see the amount of applicants. So they have about 10,000 men who applied and they took a little less than 1,000. So you're looking at about a little less than a 10% acceptance rate. 11,000 women applied and they took even less. They took 957. So it's more selective for women. Then who actually enrolled? So of the 968 they invited, 590 said will come. And then you can see the number here for the women. So this is, schools have to battle this all the time. What is their yield? That's what that is considered. What did they yield? Well, Dartmouth has over a 50% yield. In other words, they extend invitations and over 50% of the people, they say, hey, do you want to come to our school? Over 50% say, yeah, actually, I'd like to. Now, this is a little juicy piece of information you need to know. Should you go on the wait list at Dartmouth? Let's say you get in. Well, no, let's say you get waitlisted, okay? Is that like a good thing? What does that mean? Well, they are offering, now let's see, their incoming class, by the way, you can see it's about 1,600 students. They placed 1,925 on the wait list. Of those, 1,200 said, we'll take a place, and they took zero, nada, no one off the wait list. So if you get an opportunity to get on Dartmouth's waitlist, I say it's probably not a good idea. Now let's look at Clemson. See what they have to say. All right, first-time freshmen, here's who applied. Then they admitted. So they had 13,000 apply. They took about 6,000. They had almost 16,000 apply, and they took 7,500 women. So you're looking at about a 50%, I'm doing generalizations here, about a 50% admit rate. So 1 out of every 2 people who applies is going to get in. They admitted a total of 13,000 students. How many enrolled? Well, about 1,700 men enrolled and about 2,000 women enrolled. So what does that mean? That means their yield, not so good. They admitted 6,000, they took 1,700. They admitted 7,500 and they took 2,000. So some of their students are obviously going elsewhere. Their full-time freshman class is about 3,800. It's kind of a nice size. And then you get into the freshman year, and we'll talk more about that later. They do not have, I just want to see, they do not post their waitlist numbers. Oh, yeah, they do. They're right here. Okay, how many people were offered a waitlist place? 2,700 students. How many said yes? 1,100. How many did they take off? 450 roughly. So they do rank their waitlist, so that's important to know. They also take people off of it. So if Clemson's your number one choice and you get a chance to go onto the waitlist, I would say you might as well go for it because, they are taking people off. Now let's see over at our friends at Lewis and Clark. So Lewis and Clark, here we go with them. They have, you can see their numbers here, the amount of men who applied, amount of men who are admitted, amount of women. Oh, they have a lot more women than men who applied, about double the number, and the number of women who are admitted, also double the number. So what does that mean? And then you see their actual enrollment. So they're enrolling 10% roughly of the people who applied. In terms of their wait list, would you like to be on it? Well, they offered 390 people, 120-ish said yes, and then they admitted 7. So that would be something to think about. So this is the first part of the common data set. Good information here. And now we're going to go on to our next video. And in the next video, we are going to talk about really interesting information, which is the basis for selection. What are they basing your decision on? Stay tuned.